All right, so ladies and gentlemen, today we talked about women's rights in the 1970s. We talked before, like in the 1920s, about the suffragist movement, how they got the right to vote in the 19th Amendment in 1920. But now we're talking about the 1970s, and it's more about economics than it is about politics. They have the right to vote. It's more about getting the same amount of money. In the early 60s, women made 60% of what a man would make. So it wasn't even close to being fair. On top of that, women really weren't expected to even be in the workplace in to start with. They were expected to be at home for the most part, taking care of the kids. The classic 50s nuclear family of a mother, father, and two kids. So that began to be challenged in the 1970s. There's a famous book by Betty Friedman called The Feminine Mystique. And in that book, she basically said a lot of women feel trapped in that type of lifestyle. Where many people look at that's the perfect life, that maybe that's not for every woman. Maybe every woman doesn't want to necessarily be at home all day and cleaning the house and making dinner for her husband. They want to be in a job, they want to be in a profession, they want to be making money. And that really was the kind of the start of what we refer to today as kind of the modern feminist movement. And really started advocating for women's rights, for equal pay, for equal protection of the law. And that's really one of the big things they pushed for. There was a group called the National Organization for Women, or NOW. And they had all the stuff that we normally think about, things like rallies and marches and slogans, all those types of things. But they also tried to pass the laws. That was another big thing they wanted. They felt they could make a change by talking to the senators and congressmen and making so laws were passed to protect women and protect their rights. So that was one of the big things they pushed. And what they really pushed was an amendment to the Constitution called the Equal Rights Amendment that was going to make it in the Constitution that men and women were going to be treated equally. It actually did not pass. It failed. 3 states. It missed by 3 states. So, and it wasn't because people didn't think they should be equal. It just didn't have all the support. And some people felt that men and women were already being treated equally. So why they needed an amendment. But the long story is that modern impact, we see this tremendously. And every time when you look at Google and see the president of Google is a woman, and all these Fortune 500 companies, a lot of the upper management is women, you see the impact that we saw with from the 1970s and the feminist movement. Now, does that mean it's the battle's won? No. A lot of people there's still a glass ceiling, the idea that women only raise up so high. In America today, this day. So, something that started in the 1970s, we're still fighting today. So, should be watching this video. The secret president of the day, okay, is Woodrow Wilson. I'm going to ask you tomorrow. Have a good day.